I'm Harrison Graham. It's time for another Chicago Bears mock draft 5.0. It's week 11, and it's my fifth mock draft. And hey, when you're back in the number one pick situation, it's kind of hard to not cook another one up. So here we go. We're going to dive into my latest mock draft in just a moment. But just to catch you guys up on what the top five looks like, the Bears hold the number one pick via Carolina. Also the number 5 pick, drops with their own pick a few spots. But still in the top 5. Giants, Patriots, and Cardinals all sitting there with 2 wins. Tiebreaker goes to strength of schedule, and the Giants have the softest strength of schedule out of those 3 teams. So that's where things sit right now. A lot of fluidity. Giants and Patriots play in a couple of weeks. That'll be big. Bears play the Cardinals later this season. That'll be big. So we'll see where things go from here. Before we get into my mock draft, you can be honest with me. Are you tired of Bears mock drafts? We're not going to stop doing them completely because it's such a big topic and the Bears have 2 top 5 picks. But if you're tired of them, we can space them out more. You know, we've been doing one at least every other week for the last several weeks, sometimes every week. Like last week we did one, doing another one this week. So type Y for yes, type in for no. It's going to be the pinned comment, so reply right there. Let me know if you are tired of Bears mock drafts. All right, trade alert. I'm trading down for the number 1 overall pick. Let's have some fun, shall we? Patriots came calling. We used the PFF mock draft simulator, and there's always teams looking to call up. And the Patriots, we made this deal, $367 this year. So I dropped 2 spots, pick up a 3rd and a 1st next year for the number 1 pick. And no, I did not force the trade. It's one of those deals where it kind of tells you how likely it is to accept the trade. And it said very likely. Now, I don't know if it would happen in real life, but I would ask for something big for the number 1 pick in this draft. Move down 2 spots, give me a 3rd and a 1st next year. I think that's a pretty reasonable deal if you are the Chicago Bears. And with the number 3 pick in the NFL draft, in this Bears mock draft, I am selecting Marvin Harrison Jr., the wide receiver out of Ohio State. I got to tell you, folks, this kid is nothing short of fantastic. 59 catches, over 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns. He's averaging 18 yards per catch. Even though he's clearly Ohio State's top weapon on offense. I've said it for well over a month. I'm going to say it again. Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best player in college football. He should be a Heisman finalist. I think there's an argument to be had that he should win the Heisman Trophy. Kyle McCord, Ohio State's quarterback, isn't bad, but he's the worst quarterback they've had in a while. He is not on C.J. Stroud's level. He is not on Justin Fields' level. I don't even know if he's on JT Barrett's level in terms of a college quarterback. Marvin Harrison's special, man. I mean, last week they crushed Michigan State. He's got the first 3 touchdowns of the game. I mean, it's just unreal what this guy is doing. First 3, first 2, I can't remember now. He's dominating. That's all that matters. And I want him in Chicago. And if you are with me, if you want Marvin Harrison Jr. in Chicago, spam MHJ in the comments. MHJ. 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 Let's get Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Chicago Bears. Ryan Poles, make it happen. Latu, the edge rusher from UCLA. I thought about trading down again, but I didn't find a good trade. Like, the best offer I got was to trade down all the way to 15. I didn't want to go that far, and I wanted to mix it up. Full disclosure, Olu Fashanu went 4th, so Brock Bowers was available. So was Joe Alt, but I'm mixing it up. Latu is a high riser. I've seen him go as high as number 3 in mock drafts, and I know I've said it recently. I don't think an edge goes top 5, but he might. If anyone does, it's Latu. He's having a special season for the UCLA Bruins. I mean, the numbers he's putting up is just ridiculous for UCLA this season. 39 tackles this year. He's got 11 sacks, 18 and a half tackles for loss. His PFF grade is right at 93. I mean, he's doing it all for UCLA and that defense. He's a damn good player. Now, he's had some injury concerns. Washington transfer, had some injuries there, so that's a concern. That's a legitimate deal. But if he's healthy, Montez Sweat and Latu, you talk about fixing your edge position like that. I mean, Latu at worst, if he's healthy, is going to be a good pass rusher in the NFL. At best, he's a 3-down player and a stud, like a superstar. Montez Sweat, we already have seen his impact with the Bears. Add a 3-tech in free agency. I mean, you could be cooking pretty quick. I mean, you got Andrew Billings at that one tech spot. So just an idea. I would probably go in a different direction here right now. But, again, wanted to mix it up, wanted to chain things here. I wanted to trade down, but that wasn't an option. So I went with Latu. I think it's certainly a player that you guys need to monitor between now and the draft. Today's show is sponsored by PrizePicks, guys. Daily fantasy sports is so fun. NBA, NFL, college football, college basketball. I'm making picks every single day, and you can as well. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use our code CLNS to get a deposit match up to $100. If you're watching live, I've got some picks from Monday Night Football. If you're watching this segment later on in the week, well, you're either laughing at me because I missed my picks, or you're celebrating because we made some money. Hopefully you put this in there. Josh Allen, less than 277.5 passing yards on Monday Night Football. I got the more than rushing and receiving for Javonte Williams on the rushing. Cortland Sutton on the receiving yards. 10 to win $50. If you're watching later in the week, hopefully I got some extra ched. If not, you could type LOL in the comments because I lost. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use code CLNS to get a deposit match up to $100. Join rapper Meek Mill, comedian Andrew Schultz, and several others who are playing PrizePicks on a daily basis and make some money today. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use code CLNS. It's just you versus the PrizePicks projections, and you select more or less on those projections. Oh boy, let's get spicy. Now, full disclosure, Jayden Daniels, the quarterback out of LSU, who I'm very high on all of a sudden, I actually don't think he falls to the third round. I think right now he's probably in that second round conversation. I think there's a scenario where he goes first, but the mock draft simulators are a bit of a mess. It's hard to know what his evaluation is going to be because he is a fifth-year senior. He's taken a huge leap this year, so how do teams look at that? But you cannot ignore what the LSU quarterback has done this year. I mean, you look at the numbers, 3,100 passing, 30 touchdowns, 4 picks, 900 rushing yards, 900 plus, 8 rushing touchdowns. What he did against Florida over the weekend was 600 total yards and 5 total touchdowns. I mean, he has been fantastic. And yes, I think he probably goes top 2 rounds. But guys slip. This isn't such an outrageous pull on this mock. I went ahead and did it because he was sitting there. If you don't take a quarterback in the first round, I think drafting one on day 2 makes a lot of sense. Like, I'm open to running it back with Justin Fields next year. But what I'm also a fan of is if you do that, I think turning up the heat by drafting a QB in the second or third round makes a lot of sense. 1, it gives you a talented guy to develop moving forward. 2, if Fields isn't the guy, you got another guy you can turn to. Sure, you could say, well, what about Bagent? Keep Bagent. Run with 3 quarterbacks. A lot of teams are going to be carrying 3 quarterbacks moving forward anyway with the emergency QB situation long term. But I look at a team like the Philadelphia Eagles drafting Jalen Hurts when they did, and they got a lot of flack for doing so. It was a great move because Carson Wentz shriveled, ended up not being the guy, had some injuries, and Hurts has taken over and been that franchise quarterback. Like, if you don't go QB in round 1, I think taking one in the second or third round makes a lot of sense. You don't have a second round pick right now, so in this case, third round. Jayden Daniels out of LSU, fast riser. I think he's a lock to go day 2. Could even sneak into day 1. If he's sitting there in the third round, I think it's a steal. Don't miss out. We're going to do some Bears draft targets soon. Do a video on that. Maybe on our live show Thursday, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe, turn on notifications so A, you know when we go live, and B, you don't miss out on our videos, not only around the draft, but any other Bears content as well. Hit that sub button. We love you guys. Appreciate all the support. Okay, Georgia safety Javon Bullard, round 3, pick number 69. Remember, extra third-round pick because we traded with the Patriots in this mock draft as well. Bullard fits the mold of an NFL free safety. Couple of picks this year, 3 breakups. His PFF coverage grade is like 86, 87, one of the best in the country at the safety position. And we've talked about this for a few weeks. Eddie Jackson has played the last couple weeks and played okay, but he's firmly a cut candidate. Now, it's not for sure he could get cut. Could he restructure his deal? Does he take a pay cut if he wants to stay in Chicago? Those things are on the table. But his $18 million cap hit, which a dead cap hit would be like $5 million if they cut him, that seems like a no-brainer if he's not willing to lower that price tag for himself. So If you do cut him, you need to replace him at some point. I think middle rounds of the draft could make a lot of sense to put him next to Jaquan Brisker. So I like Bullard a lot. I think he's a guy in the second, third round that's pretty interesting. So remember him as well. Is 2023 Eddie Jackson's last year in Chicago? What do you guys think? Type 1 for yes, he's done after this year. 2 for no, he's going to be back next year. Again, he's under contract in 2024, but cutting him saves you a whole lot of money. So 1 for yes, it's his last year in Chicago, or 2 for no, he'll be back next year. All right, 5-round mock draft. That's all PFF, their simulator, does up to this point, not 6 or 7 rounds. So Tate Rutledge, the offensive guard out of Georgia, grading out well this year per PFF. I take him early on as like a swing guard, developmental guy that could become a starter down the road. Khyree Jackson, the corner out of Oregon, he's a good player. 6'3", 200. He's long. Could give you some insurance, at least some more depth, depending on what happens with Jalen Johnson this offseason. And then Tyleik Williams, the defensive tackle out of Ohio State. Just love the value here. Obviously, that's the only defensive tackle I took in this mock, so ideally in this scenario, you land someone in free agency, or maybe Javon Dexter has a big second half of the season. You feel good with him, but obviously that 3-tech position is something to monitor moving forward, and Tyleik Jackson is at least a developmental guy at that spot that you could bring into this organization. So let me know, again, if you're tired of mock drafts or not. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Be sure to subscribe for more Bears videos.